Sixth grade Excel, lesson 122, multiplying a three-digit number by a three-digit number. This is basically the same thing as doing two-digit times two-digit or three-digit times two-digit. Doesn't really get any more complicated. There's just more chances to make mistakes. So you have to be real careful when you do these kinds of problems. Some kids do get a little confused as they go through them. I don't think you'll have too much trouble if you just kind of pay attention to this lesson and get the idea of it, and if you're careful as you do the problems. So they show you the steps. They have 6 steps up here to go through when you're multiplying these three-digit times three-digit numbers. So the first thing you do, step 1, is you multiply the top number times 4. 124 times 4 is 496. Okay, then step 2 is that you put a placeholder down here, a 0, because you are going to multiply times 3, which is actually multiplying by 30, because that 3 is in the tens place. And so I put a 0 down to hold the empty ones place, because obviously we're not going to get any ones when we multiply times a multiple of 10, which is the 3 or the 30 in that case. So then the next step is we multiply 124 times the 3, and that number goes right there. The 0, remember, was the placeholder. So 124 times 3 is 372. Notice here's that first number. Now we're multiplying it by 3 here. This is times the 4. This is times the 3 with one placeholder. And step 4, we then go to multiplying it. Actually, we're going to be multiplying it by a 2, so that we need 2 zeros for the placeholders for the tens place and the ones place. And then we go ahead and multiply 124 times 2. That number is right here. 124 times 2 is 248. Excuse me. So again, this was times the 4 right there. This number was times the 3 with one placeholder. And then this one is times the 2 with 2 placeholders. And the number comes right out there. And the last step is we add all the numbers together, get 29,016. And it says these steps are the same as when multiplying by a two-digit number. Steps 2 and 4 show placing zeros in the ones and tens place so that the partial product resulting from the multiplication will start in the proper column. In other words, we're holding the tens and the ones place as zeros. All right, let's go ahead and oh, these problems are already done for us, so we're going to kind of talk through these. Watch the video and see if you can kind of say this as I go through them. So we're going to do 8 times 7, which is what? 56. Carry the 5. 9 times 7 is 63. Excuse me, 63 plus 5 is 68. We're going to carry the 6. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 6 is equal to 20. Now they don't do the next step of multiplying by the 0 because it's obviously going to be equal to 0, and when we add 0 into this addition problem, it's not going to be any different. So what we're going to do is skip to the multiplying by 3. So we put 2 placeholders in for these two numbers, the 2 zeros, and then we're going to multiply 298 times 3, and that comes right here. 8 times 3 is 24, carry the 2. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 2 is 29, carry the 2 again. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And then we add together to get our final answer down here. All right, excuse me, here's $4.71 times 200. Notice that they skip the step of multiplying by that number and that number because you're just going to get 0. They put down the 2 placeholders for these two numbers, the 2 zeros, and they go straight to multiplying by 2. 1 times 2 is 2, 7 times 2 is 14, carry the 1, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. That's my answer. I don't need to have all the different steps with a bunch of zeros in there. That's kind of a waste of time. Okay, and then here's another one. We have a 0 in the ones place, and so they just put down the placeholder and skip straight to multiplying times the 6. So 6 times 4 is 24, carry the 2. 8 times 6 is 48, plus 2 is 50, carry the 5. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 5 is 41. Then we go to multiplying by the 7, and so we need the 2 placeholders for these two numbers right here, 0 and 0. 4 times 7 is 28, carry the 2. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 2 is 58, carry the 5. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 5 is 47, and then we add these numbers together, get the answer right here. And notice that they put the decimal point in. There's a decimal point here, there's a decimal point there, 2 spots here, 2 spots there, so we have to have 4 spots in our final answer, and that's 9840 is going to be on the right side of the decimal point. all together. Now here's $5.08 times $2.48. Go through this one with me now. 8 times 8 is 64. Carry the 6. 0 plus 6 is 6. 5 times 8 is 40. Then we put a placeholder in for that ones place because we're going to be multiplying by the tens. And we do 8 times 4 is 32. Carry the 3. 0 times 4 is 0 plus the 3 is 3. 5 times 4 is 20. That's what's written right there. And then we're going to go to our last place, which is multiplying by the 2. But I need 2 placeholders for those 2 digits right there. And so now I do 8 times 2 is 16. Carry the 1. 0 times 2 is 0 plus 1 is 1. 5 times 2 is 10. Add them together and get this right here. Don't forget the decimal point. This is a money problem. All right, here are 4 problems. The words are written out for what the multiplication problems are going to be. If you could read this, then go ahead and fill in the problems on your paper because your paper is blank right here. Fill in the problems, calculate the answers, and then turn back on the video to see what the solutions are. If you cannot read these, if this is just too small for you, then you can let the video run a little bit more and then the numbers for the problems will pop on the video. Once you see those, pause the video, copy the numbers down, and then solve for the multiplication answers. So here are the problems. If you have not written these yet, pause the video, write them down, and then solve the answers. If you have already solved these, then keep the video going and you can check out and see if you got the answers right. Here we go. 6 times 3 is 18. Whoa. There we go. Carry the 1. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. Carry the 2. 4 times 3 is equal to 12, plus 2 is 14. All right, now we need 1 placeholder in here for the 3 because I'm going to be multiplying it times the 4 or 40. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. Don't skip this step. Sometimes when kids do the 6 times 4, they jump over to the 4 next and they skip right over the 7. So now we do 7 times 4 is 28 plus 2 is 30. Carry the 3. And then we have 4 times 4 is 16 plus 3 is 19. All right, we got weird things happening with the pen here. But now we're going to put 2 placeholders down for the 4 and the 3. 0, 0. And then we're going to multiply 476 times this 3 out here. All right, 6 times 3. Oh, we already did 476 times 3 right here. So why don't we just copy that down? We don't have to go through all the steps again. We know it's going to be 8, 2, 4, and then 1. And there's nothing that's cheating about that. That's just being smart about your math. So we have 9 plus 1 is 10. That's 13. Carry the 1. That's 6. And that's a 1. So we have 163,268. All right, let's go on to number 6. And it's decimal point 261 and 1.05, 1.05. So here we go. We've got 1 times 5 is 5. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 3 is 13. Now I don't need to multiply by 0, so I'm going to put down 2 placeholders for these 2 digits and multiply 261 times 1. I don't need to go through all the steps of that because 261 times 1 is 1. So 5, 0, 4, 7, 2. Now notice we have 3 spots and 2 spots. 3 spots, 2 spots. That means I have to have 5 spots on the right side of the decimal point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Decimal point belongs right there. If you put the decimal point in the wrong place, your answer is completely wrong. It's not close to being right. It's totally wrong. You have to get that decimal point in the right spot. All right, so next one is $1.27 times 250. Again, I can skip this first step, put a 0 down for that. Do 127 times 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 3 is 13. Carry the 1. 6. And then I'm going to multiply, I put 2 placeholders down for these 2 numbers. I'm going to multiply 127 times this 2 out here. 7 times 2 is 14. Carry the 1. Don't skip this step now. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. And 1 times 2 is equal to 2. 0, 5, 7, 11, 3. And again here, notice that I'm doing $1.27 times 250. So I can put the decimal point back in there with the dollar sign. Last one here, 6 times 1 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. Actually, I can just write that one down because it's times 1. Placeholder because I'm going to the 6 next. 426 times 6 is my next problem. 6 times 6 is 36. Carry the 3. 2 times 6 is 12. Plus 3 is 15. Carry the 1. 4 times 6 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. 2 placeholders for both of these digits here. I'm going to get rid of those so I don't accidentally use them again. And I'm doing 426 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry the 1. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 4 times 3 is 12. And then I'm going to add these together and get 6, 8, 17, carry the 1, 13, carry the 1. What is that thing, a 2? Okay. Then I got 5 and 1. 153,786. All right, you have a checkbox to do here with 2 problems. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. All right, I've gone ahead and done the problems here, so you can pause the video, check it out, make sure that you've computed these accurately. If you have any mistakes down here at the bottom, look and see what you did wrong on these numbers in between. Where did you actually mess up? Where did you, multiply wrong or forget to regroup or whatever? And then you should have added up your check answer to make sure that your answers were correct. All right, thanks for watching.